Have you ever stumbled upon something so absurd you had to check twice to make sure it was real? Well, get ready, because I'll be throwing a whole lot of those towards you today. And the best part? These 25 facts are 100% real. From America's actual spanking squad, yes, it's exactly what it sounds like, to a police force taking a squirrel into custody, and even the bizarre use of cocaine tampons in medical history, you're about to learn a few things that will make you Google things you never thought you'd want to. You ready? Because I'm Mike with List 25, and here are 25 unbelievable facts that are 100% real. 25. The US military's broken arrows. It sounds like a plot straight out of a spy thriller, but the US military has actually misplaced several nuclear weapons, and at least 3 have never been recovered. These lost nukes fall under the unnerving category of broken arrows, a term used when nuclear weapons are accidentally lost, stolen, or detonated. According to the BBC, there have been at least 32 such incidents where nuclear weapons were either fired by mistake, lost in transit, or just vanished. And no, I'm not talking about small explosives. These are full-scale nuclear warheads, potentially still lurking in oceans or buried beneath the earth somewhere. 24. Butterflies remember their caterpillar days. When butterflies finally break free from their cocoons, they actually keep their first memories from their days as caterpillars. Their brains come with special structures, known as mushroom bodies, that help them remember things like bad tasting or dangerous foods. It's basically a cool survival tactic known as fear conditioning, and it helps butterflies to avoid the mistakes they made as little crawlers. So while they might look brand new and delicate, they're still relying on the life lessons they picked up from their squishy, slow-paced past. Hey guys, just jumping in here real quick to tell you some exciting news. You know how you love watching our videos for amazing facts? Well, what if I told you that you could also have 500 amazing facts in the palm of your hand? That's right, we wrote a book. This one right here. What the facts are you talking about? And you can order it right now and have List 25 right in your library or on your coffee table or wherever it is you keep your books. It's available right now on Amazon, so click the link in the description and grab yourself and friends and family a copy today. 23. The day police arrested a squirrel. In 2018, a man in Karlsruhe, Germany made an unusual call to emergency services. He was being chased by a baby squirrel. And no, this wasn't a joke. The squirrel relentlessly pursued him down the street until it finally curled up and took a nap from sheer exhaustion. The man, understandably frazzled, wasn't named, but the police gave the snoozing rodent a new name, Carl Friedrich. After rescuing the man, the squirrel was taken into custody and later became a temporary police mascot before heading to an animal shelter. 22. The Children's Crusade of 1212. In 1212, the so-called Children's Crusade saw 2 young leaders, Stephen of Croix from France and Nicholas of Cologne from Germany, gather nearly 20,000 children, teens, and adults with an ambitious goal: to succeed where professional crusaders had failed and capture Jerusalem. Unfortunately, their noble dream quickly turned into a nightmare. Most of the crusaders died from hunger, thirst, or drowning at sea. Many were sold into slavery, and only a few ever made it home. Chroniclers at the time saw the disaster as a sign that God did not will it. Yet the movement left a lasting impression, inspiring authors like Agatha Christie and Kurt Vonnegut to weave its tragic tale into literature. 21. Looking at sick people gives your immune system a boost. Here's a weird one. Just looking at pictures of sick people can actually give your immune system a little boost. That sounds strange, right? According to research from University of British Columbia, led by Mark Scholar, people who looked at images of sneezing or visibly ill folks showed a stronger immune response to future infections. The idea is that, just like how seeing something gross can make you feel unclean, your brain kicks your immune system into gear when it spots signs of sickness. 20. Boxing was once illegal in the US. Believe it or not, boxing used to be illegal in the United States. Before 1896, fighters often had to hide or risk arrest to avoid getting caught mid-match. But then, New York became the first state to legalize the sport, and others soon followed. Interestingly, boxing found some of its earliest supporters through the muscular Christianity movement, a religious group that believed sports could build both physical and moral strength. They saw boxing as a way to develop character and discipline, turning it into something more than just a brawl. 19. Alcohol is a performance-enhancing drug in shooting sports. Here's a surprising fact. In most shooting sports, alcohol is considered a performance-enhancing drug. Yeah, you heard me right. A small amount of alcohol can actually relax your body and slow your heart rate, which helps competitors shoot more accurately. Because of this, organizations like the NCAA and the World Anti-Doping Agency have banned alcohol, specifically in rifle competitions. Since a little liquid courage can give shooters an unfair edge, it's a big no-no in these sports. 18. Groundhog Day was originally about eating groundhogs. Groundhog Day might be famous for its weather predictions and the movie starring Bill Murray, but it started with a much less glamorous tradition: cooking groundhogs. Back in the 1880s, the celebration in Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania wasn't about forecasting the weather, it was about hunting these critters for dinner. The festival, created by local newspaper editor Clymer Frias, aimed to lure visitors who were otherwise just passing through on their way to a nearby coal plant. Frias described the hunts with flair, and the event eventually morphed into the elaborate weather-predicting spectacle we know today. By 1886, Punxsutawney Phil had become the seer of seers, sage of sages, prognosticator of prognosticators, and weather prophet extraordinaire, and the rest is history. 17. JFK's wild nights at Bing Crosby's parties. John F. Kennedy's reputation as a notorious womanizer is well known. But here's a fun tidbit you might not have heard of. He had some wild parties at Bing Crosby's Hollywood parties. Former White House intern Mimi Alford's tell-all book revealed steamy details about their affair, including a rendezvous in the White House pool and even Jackie Kennedy's powder blue bedroom. But the real party scene was at Crosby's place. At one such event, JFK convinced Alford to use poppers to spice things up, even though he himself abstained. On another night, things got even wilder. Everyone ended up getting naked in the pool. JFK chatted up stewardesses while his aide David Powers was busy causing chaos by tossing Crosby's suits into the pool as a prank. The scene was a mix of presidential charm and playful mischief, much to Crosby's dismay. 16. Bone marrow transplants can change your blood type. If you receive a bone marrow transplant, your blood type can actually change. It's not something that happens to every recipient, but here's how it works. Most of your red blood cells are produced in your bone marrow. So if you get a transplant from a donor with a different type, over time, your blood type can shift to match the donor's. I mean, how crazy is that? 15. The world's population could fit into Texas at NYC density. Not that we want to, but all 8 billion or so of us could actually fit inside Texas if we were crammed together at the same density as the city dwellers living in New York City. With a density of about 27,000 people per square mile, Texas has more than enough room to house the entire world's population. To put it into perspective, that's the same density as NYC and way less crowded than Paris. 14. America once had a spanking squad. Back in the 1910s, America had a rather unusual approach to disciplining young offenders: corporal punishment doled out by an official spanking squad. Arthur C. Whitaker, the mayor of Bridgeton, New Jersey, was so committed to his unconventional methods that he eventually set up an automated spanking machine at City Hall. Instead of sending kids to reformatory schools, Whitaker sentenced them to this contraption, which could adjust the spanking's duration and intensity based on the crime. During his 7-year tenure, over 100 boys and a few girls faced the machine. Remarkably, some parents even brought their misbehaving kids to Whitaker voluntarily. 13. Dung beetles navigate using the Milky Way. Dung beetles might be small, but their navigation skills are out of this world. Literally. These tiny creatures have an impressive way of finding their way by using the light of the Milky Way. That is the word way too many times. Researchers found that dung beetles can roll in perfectly straight paths, whether they're guided by a moon or a clear, starry sky. What's even more amazing is that they can do it even when it's just an image of the night sky or Milky Way being projected in a planetarium. They truly are amazing bugs. 12. Drinking too much pure water can be deadly. You might be surprised to learn that drinking too much 100% pure water can actually be dangerous. While it seems like a healthy choice, ultra-purified water lacks essential minerals and nutrients our bodies rely on. This means gulping down excessive amounts of it can disrupt your body's natural balance more quickly than many tap water contaminants. Research indicates that the extreme filtration needed to make water so pure removes up to 99% of these beneficial elements. So, while staying hydrated is important, moderation is key, even with water. 11. The UK's most dangerous animal is cows. Yeah, you heard that right. Cows. In recent years, cattle have claimed more lives than any other large animal in Britain, with 74 people getting a one-way ticket to the afterlife thanks to our bovine friends, mostly from bulls or new mothers looking out for their calves. So the next time you're around a cow, remember, they might look like they're just grazing, but they could be plotting their next big move. Or should I say, next big move. 10. The 19th century's wildest remedy. When it comes to odd medical practices, history doesn't disappoint. Take the 19th century, for instance, when cocaine wasn't just a party drug, but also a go-to treatment for women's health issues. Back then, cocaine-soaked tampons were all the rage for treating everything, from painful childbirth to sore nipples. And it wasn't just some wild experiment. Cocaine was considered a miracle cure, thanks to its anesthetic properties, and was used in medical treatments as an antiseptic for bullet wounds and even as a treatment for gynecological problems. So the next time you think modern medicine is a bit offbeat, remember, there was a time when cocaine-soaked tampons were considered cutting-edge healthcare. 9. From explosions to peace prizes. Alfred Nobel, a Swedish chemist, turned nitroglycerin into dynamite in the 19th century, shaking up the world of construction and mining with his explosive invention. But Nobel wasn't just about making things go boom. He decided to use his fortune from dynamite to create the Nobel Prizes, which honor those who truly make a difference in the world, from peacemakers to scientific innovators. So, while Nobel's name can be tied to everything from high-impact explosions to groundbreaking scientific advances, his lasting impact is all about celebrating progress and peace. 8. The serial inflatable object humper. A man was arrested for a, let's just say, unusual sexual encounter with an inflatable pumpkin from a Halloween display in 2002. And he didn't stop there. Edwin Tabergta, a fiend when it comes to odd encounters with inflatable objects, found himself in trouble again and again. In 2011, he stole a pink pool raft, took it to an alley, and, well, misbehaved. Not learning his lesson, he repeated the act in 2013, stealing the same raft and attempting a strange romance in broad daylight while children were nearby. His unusual passions led to multiple arrests and stints in prison, leaving a legacy that's both bewildering and unforgettable. 7. The main ingredient in urine is used to flavor cigarettes. If you're still looking for a reason to stop smoking, then I might have just found the best one. It turns out that the main ingredient in urine, urea, is used to flavor cigarettes. But don't worry, they're not dipping your smokes in pee. Instead, urea is synthesized in labs and added to enhance the tobacco's taste. Urea is a versatile compound found in everything from fertilizers and plastics to animal feed and explosives. It's also the primary nitrogen-containing substance in mammal urine and helps with nitrogen excretion. So while you're not actually inhaling urine, the next time you light up, this little fact might just give you a pause. 6. The Nazis altered Bible. During World War II, the Nazis took their obsession with purity to disturbing new heights by creating their own version of the Bible. The Institute for Study and Elimination of Jewish Influence on German Church Life was established with a sinister mission: rid German Christianity of what they saw as Jewish influences. From 1939 to 1945, this institute worked on a Bible that reflected their ideology, featuring an ultra-white Jesus, completely erasing any hint of Jewish heritage. The effort wasn't just about rewriting religious texts. It was part and parcel of their broader campaign to reshape German culture and religion according to their extremist beliefs. 5. The 2012 pot-positive babies. Imagine being a new parent, walking the straight line, and suddenly hearing from the doctor that your baby tested positive for marijuana. Cue the panic. Social services, child abuse accusations, the works. But back in 2012, when cases of pot-positive babies started to spike, researchers had a hunch it wasn't about neglectful parents at all. The real culprit? Baby soap. Studies found that tiny traces from popular brands like CVS Nighttime Baby Bath, Johnson & Johnson's Head to Toe Baby Wash, and Aveeno could actually trigger a false positive for THC, the active ingredient in marijuana. Scientists are still scratching their heads as to why, but one thing's for sure, bath time isn't turning babies into tiny stoners. 4. A man with dyslexia has earned 14 college degrees. Benjamin B. Bolger isn't just a fan of higher education. He's basically collected more degrees than most people have shoes. Despite being dyslexic, Bulger's managed to earn 14 advanced degrees. And I'm not talking about college diplomas here. He's hit up some of the world's most prestigious universities: Harvard, Stanford, Yale, Oxford, Cambridge. The list goes on. From Columbia to Dartmouth, Brandeis to Brown, he's racked up an academic resume that's nothing short of staggering. And while most of us struggle through 1 degree, Bulger seems to have made a career out of proving that nothing, not even dyslexia, can stop you from achieving greatness. 3. A very polar bear problem. In Churchill, Manitoba, it's not burglars that locals are worried about, it's polar bears. In this remote northern town, residents leave their car doors unlocked as an emergency escape option for anyone who might find themselves face to face with a polar bear. This isn't just a weird Canadian thing. Churchill is known as the polar bear capital of the world, and these giant predators regularly wander into town. So if you're being chased by a bear, diving into the nearest unlocked car could be your best bet. 2. 3 men sued NASA for trespassing on Mars. In 1997, 3 men from Yemen decided they had had enough of NASA's antics. On Mars, of all places. They actually sued the space agency, accusing it of trespassing with its Pathfinder spacecraft and Sojourner rover. Their claim? They inherited Mars from their ancestors over 3,000 years ago. While most of us are still trying to wrap our heads around interplanetary travel, these guys were busy defending their family's Martian property rights. Needless to say, the case didn't exactly fly in court, but you gotta admire the imagination. 1. Poor people are more likely to die in car crashes. They say death is the great equalizer, but when it comes to car crashes, it seems wealth draws a pretty stark line. Despite declining traffic accidents overall, the least educated and poorest members of society are at a much higher risk. In fact, if you don't have a high school diploma, your chances of dying in a car accident are 4.3 times higher than someone with a college degree. And it's not about driving skills. It's more about the circumstances. Older cars with fewer safety features, living in areas with poorly maintained roads, and having less access to trauma centers all play a part. In the end, poverty makes getting behind the wheel an absolutely deadly experience. And that's it for today. If these bizarre facts blew your mind, then you're gonna love the video we did a while back on 25 unbelievable historical facts that change everything. I mean, in this one, I uncovered the fate of Stalin's eldest son, the story of a man who survived with a rod through his brain, and the surprising connection between redheads and vampirism. Interested? Well then, you can check it out by just clicking this link right here. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.